episodes? We are able to keep Venture Forth ad-free thanks to our amazing patrons. To help keep this podcast free of ads, check out our Patreon. Link in our description.
Salutations. I'm Kellic.
Oma.
Thessaly.
Shreya.
Blinn.
And I'm your DM, Ethan. Welcome to Venture Forth. Previously, the party had reunited and successfully saved Shreya from his metallic poisoning. After a long and really, really time-consuming wait, the party was finally able to get back and collect all these items at the Grumbling Garden Grove, finally relieving Shreya of the metal poison. As Shreya now stands there, fully healed before you, you all leave the Grumbling Garden Grove, tired, exhausted, needing a meal, as you all head off and find a night's rest at a local inn. As you all nurse your wounds, get some food, and get in a good night's rest, you all wake in the morning to the sound of seagulls, the sound of creaking ships out on the dock, the smell of the ocean sea breeze. And as you all come to and wake up and meet in the lobby of this inn, what would you all like to do?
Well.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there food somewhere? I'm gonna look around. Do they serve food at this place?
You look around and they've sort of got like this small little, almost just like a table of your basics off in the corner. Nothing fancy at all.
I'll head over to that wordlessly with a passive look to Flynn and scarf down, I don't know, some carbs, man. If there's bread.
There's bread. There's a pitcher of water. Almost all of the ice at this point has dissipated in it. But yeah, it's the basics.
Would you save some for me, please?
And I'll grab the piece of bread out of his... A piece or a chunk. I'm just going to grab a piece of chunk out of there.
Try it easy. There's enough for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling, by the way? You look... How does he look?
Flynn, make a medicine check for me.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, that is... medicine. Total of 10.
Total of 10. It's tough to tell.
Does he look on death's door? Does he look like his wounds are healing?
He looks a little tired, but not uncommonly tired for someone who has just gone through what he's gone through.
Jaya, maybe you should take a seat and just relax.
No.
Just woke up.
No, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to sleep.
Okay, all right. We don't have to go to sleep. Do you want to go outside?
Did you have any troubling dreams last night, Shreya? Any more crabs haunting you
Right.
through the forest or whatever it was?
It is not something I even want to think about. So I will stay awake as long as I can.
All right. I just give him a soft pat on the shoulder and you do that, Shreya. You take care of yourself.
If there is a use that I can provide, perhaps I can walk around, keep watch. Even though we're in civilization, I can probably keep watch. Maybe are there still people chasing us like before?
Well, actually, you know,
I sure hope not.
that might be a good idea. And I'll nod towards Kellic, yeah, why don't you go outside and maybe do a perimeter and just go out for a fly and see if there's anything around. And come back in a bit.
Yes, I would like
Not
that.
for nothing, Shreya. This place is almost as embattled as the front line. They provide the warships that are holding down the seafront side of this conflict, so it is as dangerous an area as we have ever been.
All right.
We'll wait here for you until you say it's clear.
It would, if nothing else, it would put my own mind at ease.
Perfect.
I'm gonna head out.
And,
Okay. Strider flies away.
As he heads out, I'll kind of like give Kellic like a pat, like, you know, he needs that. You know, it's flying always makes him feel good. So I figured maybe let him do that.
Yeah, he's got that whole thing about being held down.
Yeah.
So,
And I can only imagine how that made the last few hours, days feel for him.
normal, stable people are driven to madness by stuff that we've seen in the last few days. I don't know that trial started as a normal, stable person. I can't speak to that. So, as well as he's handling this is as good as one can hope, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the perimeter check helps.
I just shrug. As honest a shrug as I've ever given.
And I'll kind of grab a piece of bread as well, and I'll find a little area to sit, and I'll just go into my spell book and kind of just start studying again until everyone wakes up.
Morning, Thessaly.
Good morning.
Didn't see you there at first.
Yeah, I'm kind of quiet this morning. I don't feel well, and I don't remember the last time I didn't feel well. That's strange.
Let me take a look at you. And I'll just real quickly do a once over to make sure Thessaly doesn't have metallic poisoning.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, actually.
Good.
For everyone.
I'm gonna have you make a medicine check for me.
That's a 19.
19. She seems physically a little drained, maybe mentally drained a little bit more than physically, but no immediate ailments.
Well, you took a bit of a tumble in that jaunt we had. So,
I think we all did. I think we all had some. I am really concerned about what happened to Olma.
As she says Olma, you hear kind of like the pitter-patter of feet from above, and I'm walking down, like running down the hall, and like slide into the wall before the staircase, and then I like run down the staircase and like trip over the last couple steps. Did I miss anything? And I like run over to Thessaly and Flynn and Kellic. Is it breakfast time? Did I miss breakfast?
I
Did everyone eat but me?
magnanimously present the meager portions in front of us. Breakfast.
No, there's bread.
Okay, good. And I like shove it into my face. And my eyes are I have bags under my eyes.
Oh.
but I'm there.
Olma, you can keep eating. That's fine. I think I have something I'd like to give back to you. And I'm going to reaching sort of like up on my shoulder and realizing that the cloak I usually wear is gone. It's not there anymore. And then I reach into my bag where I had been gifted this cloak of invisibility, and I pull it back out and offer it to Olma. I made such poor use of this in the sense that I didn't even use it at all. So I feel like maybe you should have it back.
Have this?
Yes.
You don't need it? I thought you were bad at sneaking.
Oh, well, I'm still very, very bad at sneaking, but it turns out I'm really great at confronting my problems directly, so you can just take this.
Yeah, I don't want to confront my problems, and I'll throw and I'll toss it in my bag.
All right.
Have we heard anything from Seeker? Did anybody get a message in the night or anything of that nature?
I'm gonna check my scroll thing that we can.
Yeah.
I look. Is there any ink on it?
You do not see any ink on it. And from what you remember of this parchment and the ink itself is it's sort of a one-way message. You would have to write a message onto it. Yeah.
I'm tired.
What's that?
Oh, it's just a nice little way of keeping track of each other, but he can't really use it to talk to me, so it's not helpful here.
But you could tell him where we are.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I could.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
That's such a great idea. Does anybody have something they want to say or want to ask or feel like is important?
I think just making sure he's okay. I worry for the man.
All right. So I'm going to take some time and think of like a really short phrase, and I think I just, after thinking really hard, I just end up with, "Are you all right?" and question mark.
All right. And as you finish writing the phrase, you take a moment, and after just a beat, the ink seeps into the paper, completely dissipates, and you no longer see any ink on the paper itself.
Where'd it go?
Well, I'm hoping it comes... Oh, no, it can't come back. Gosh, we'll have to figure out a way to get him to talk back to me.
I mean, it's a bit early for me, but I could reach out to him if you'd like me to.
Oh, you can do that?
Oh, he can do that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's how you were able to talk to Shreya, and he didn't answer. It did answer, and that's when we ran after him.
He answered.
Okay.
I'll give him it.
But should we do that here? Because, like, what if he doesn't answer and you get sad again?
Why would he... Seeker will answer.
I just, like, look befuddled at Olma. I don't know what you mean, Olma. Yeah, I mean, perhaps let's give him the morning to catch up to us. It's only
That's
been
fair.
a day.
That makes
Seeker's
sense.
resourceful. And if we don't hear from him by the afternoon, I'll reach out to him.
But wait, how did we get his item? Because if he never showed up, what happened?
He sent someone ahead of him.
He knows someone here?
I don't know. That part is actually very fuzzy.
I feel Seeker has demonstrated a capacity to know people. I don't know, he connected us. He got us out of Solaris just through connections.
That's true.
So
That is kind of his thing. Is Shreya going to be okay patrolling by himself? I'm actually a little concerned after everything he went through to just sort of zoom into the air alone.
as long as he doesn't leave the city, I think it's fine. It's more the but I mean, before, when we sent him into the forest, he was pursued by Chath and his ilk. I'm sure he'll be fine. Just shrug.
And I'm gonna see if I can like look out the window or look up to see if I can see this semi-familiar bird figure. Like, is he flapping about? Is he making an actual patrol?
I would hope gliding effortlessly, but I'll have to defer to how I'm doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
you see, you sort of have to look for a couple seconds, but just after a moment, you do see Shreya just sort of very gently gliding up in the air, a couple 100 feet up.
Okay, well that's comforting at least.
Is Kalyn with us?
Kalyn is with you, yes.
Is she woken up?
You all look over, and for the first time, noticing Kalyn sitting there in the corner in a chair with her feet up on the table, just sort of tossing a copper piece to herself.
I'm going to look at everyone and I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, missing 7. Where's Ilinar? Kalyn, did you let Ilinar go? Is he invisible?
Nope. Flynn,
Huh?
please explain.
Right, and I'll shut the book. So he's
Did you let Ilinar get away?
no, he's at the void. He's in a cage.
Oh,
We basically just dropped him off, and then I went on the mission to get the seed totem thing
oh,
with Kalyn.
oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Also,
So you didn't do your mission alone?
no,
So all of us had to do our missions alone, but you got to have help?
Oh,
I
my.
went with my friend.
Not a competition.
Yeah.
We succeeded. Kept Shreya
We
alive.
succeeded?
We did.
Do you know what I went through to get this? I can't believe you had help.
I don't know why that's a big deal.
I mean, he was also the only one that had help. It wasn't. What did you go through?
It seems, and you notice for the first time that my arm is very freshly bandaged, like I've just done it this morning before coming downstairs. It's shaking. It seems we've all had something of a day retrieving those ingredients. It's no wonder they weren't there in the store, I suppose. It's fair to say.
Yeah, to be fair, I look over at Kalyn and back to Alma. I did most of the work anyway.
Everyone in this room, if you believe that, can you please raise your hand?
I raise both my hands.
I sit on my hands.
I'm giving Flynn the worst look he's had for me since meeting
It's
him.
true.
I just weakly smile at Flynn, but I don't raise my hand.
Kalyn looks back at Flynn and just sort of cocks her head to the side and smiles a little bit.
Unbelievable. Also, we need to talk.
Ooh, you're in trouble.
Well, I guess mainly with everyone. But I'm curious what you think we should do.
Kalyn catches the copper piece out of the air. She uncrosses her legs and stands up from her chair. Well, it seems that you all have your priorities. And Flynn, it seems that your priorities are, in time, changing away from the priorities of the Iron Light, as in time mine have as well. Personally, I plan on moving forward with my investigations and attempting to stop what you all helped stop.
Right, but we have to let him know.
We have to let who know, Flynn? Who is safe?
Our friends. Zorkol, Pierre, Evelyn.
Okay, we let them know.
We should tell them, right? And then they can decide how to tell Melleru or the other members, because we're still being hunted. It's not just those three, and also, and listen, wasn't my fault, but Nessa got out.
Nessa?
What?
The snake lady.
Yep, the one that swallowed me.
What?
Oh.
But she was in prison. She was with Hayfried in prison. How could she get out?
Apparently, they're still working out the coins, and they're not perfect, so sending someone over if they're not taking a... I don't know, it's confusing magic stuff.
Did seem too good to be true.
Wait, okay, so what are we supposed to do then? It never works or it always works? Why did it work with some people and not with Nessa?
I think that's something we'd have to take up with Hayfried if we want to head over there. I figured that's kind of like... I mean, I have some questions of my own. I looked to Kalyn
Or just
that we need to ask.
something to consider down the road when we use the coins that we just might not be able to guarantee their success.
Yeah.
Well, what did Hayfried say?
You know, it's been a long day yesterday, and I mean, it's something about magic and being unconscious. I'm not sure.
No, I mean, but was he okay?
Yeah, they're okay. Timmy's mad, but you know, it's Timmy.
Why is Timmy?
Timmy's never mad. What do you mean Timmy's mad?
Well, apparently she caused a Nessa attacked or ran away. Or
Are they okay?
They're okay. Yeah, when we showed up, they were cleaning up a mess, but I mean, they're okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
I feel bad because I remember when we first met Hayfried, and we went into his goopy void. He told us not to let anybody in there, and then we just keep bringing more and more people into
Right.
his void. Do you think he regrets ever meeting us?
Oh no.
I don't think so, Alma. I think Hayfried is a complicated dwarf, to be sure. And we have taken for granted certain securities that he has offered us. But we've given him a chance at redemption, which seems to be his ultimate goal. And I think the nature of redemption is such that he already knows how important it is.
Well, what should
What
we
he's
do to
done.
make it up to him? Maybe give him more of that glass?
No, let's
No.
not do that.
No more enabling Hayfried to be unhinged in any way.
But we have to do something to make it up to him, don't
That
we?
void, it seems secure, but if Nessa can escape from a cage,
Yeah.
well, we can't. We have to be very careful. Just thinking of that dragon in there.
Yeah.
Do we know for certain that Hayfried is as powerful as he was when he imprisoned it? Because if he's not, then it might be that that dragon is taken for granted that that cage will still hold it. If a cage can't hold Nessa, why would it hold a dragon?
Right. Maybe
So-
we should stop sending stuff for now.
Just for the time being,
Well, we don't have any more coins anyway, so.
Okay.
until we can guarantee some semblance of security.
But yeah, I feel like, and I'll turn back to Kalyn, because of Nessa being on loose and whoever else she's working with, we have to let the others know, even if they're not part of our group, they're still part of us.
'Tis my hope that this underbelly of the Iron Light is not a hydra, that by cutting down the head of it, it's done. But I suppose if Nessa's passionate enough, she could find more sympathetic voices.
I can send a message to Zorkal and the others who are in our group, but Flynn, I just don't know if I feel comfortable sending word to anyone else and possibly letting them know that we've been tipped off to their scheme.
There's others.
Ooh, Flynn, if you name names, I would be more than happy to consider it.
Everyone. They need to know that people are hunting them. People like us are hunting them.
But we would also be sending word to the hunters. We would not only be giving the innocents a heads up, we would also be giving a heads up to the people who are hunting us. And we don't know how many there are.
I think that's better than not knowing at all. They have to prepare for monsters every day, but not for, dare I say, a sentinel or an ex-sentinel or whatever we call them now. Betrayers.
Much as I hate to side with Flynn, and I give him a little smile, it does strike me that the hunters are already hunting your kin. What new action are they going to take upon being discovered that they aren't already doing? They kidnapped you, the daughter of the leader of their organization.
Well,
That is true.
just for now, at least send something to Zorkal. Is what you can do instant? Would I know what she's talking about sending a message, or is this like a spell that she knows that I don't?
You don't know off the top of your head.
Are you just going to send a letter? Because, and I'll turn to Kellic, we might have a way to do it faster if you're able.
I could contact your mother.
I don't know if that, it's either that or Zorkal.
I'd be more comfortable with Zorkal,
I
personally.
too. And then he can find a way to tell Melaru, maybe he can just say something like, something's hunting, be more prepared, or people are hunting us. You don't even have to say it's Chath or Sentinels. Just say there's people out there with magic that are hunting us. Tell the Sentinels, let them know. And then we'll figure this out when we get to the Void and ask Chath some questions. And then we can reach out to Zorkal again if we need to. But I think at least telling him now that spread the word, however he
Fine.
feels.
I think that's a good course of action. You're
Okay.
able to cast this magic?
I am.
Can you tell him I said hello?
You want me to tell Zorkal you said hello?
Yeah, and that I don't need his help to sleep or to do watches.
Um,
And that I'm fine on my own. I don't need him.
Maybe just do that like at the end if it's time.
I'll try to squeeze it in. I have to be pretty what's the word? Concise. So got it. I'll see if I can find Zorkal's tether. Cast standing.
Okay.
Before you cast it, I'll quickly ask Kalyn, should we just say everything? We trust Zorkal, right? He said to trust our group.
I personally trust him, yes.
Can I tell him everything?
Ajungis. And I pull the tether to my heart. Chath was leading the assault on the Sentinels with Nessa and Eleanor. Spread the word. And Alma doesn't need you. Hope you're well.
Do we hear you when you cast?
Yeah.
We hear that.
I like shuffle in my seat a little
You
bit.
see my face kind of like scrunch up as I'm trying to think of the right way to put it.
My shoulders bop in my seat a little bit.
What a sign off. He can say something.
Honestly.
Right? He can say something?
Yeah,
He can respond. Yeah. This is unpleasant news. But news is good news at this point. I will get the word out as best as I can. And I don't need Olma either. As you feel the line close.
He says it's unpleasant news that you don't need him,
I thought so.
but he'll live. And I give like a knowing look to Flynn and Kalyn, of like I communicated the necessary info, and he received it.
All right.
Guess we go with that for now.
I think as much as I'd like to devote all our efforts to solving that problem, we do have these gates to consider and these keys to pursue, and I think that's got to take precedence.
We're close
As
to
you
one,
all
aren't we?
see, a shadow just briefly pass by the window in the front, as gently landing on the ground. Shreya, you have returned. You open up the front door.
While I was up there, did I roll perception? See
Yeah,
anything
you
in the?
wanna roll
Yeah,
perception?
that'd be
Roll
great.
perception
Kind of retract. Yeah. 18.
18. You saw the typical morning of what you would assume a normal civilization wakes up to. You see people beginning to move out onto the street, and the most movement that you see is at the docks, where as you flew up, you saw a lot of people at the docks. You saw a lot of dock workers. You saw quite a few soldiers, but the more you were up there, the more soldiers you saw gathering, crowding. And by the end of your flight, all of the soldiers had packed a considerable number of these ships full and set sail and are now heading out to the harbor.
What kind of conditions were they sailing into? Like, how was the ocean versus the land? And
Clear skies.
Clear? Oh, cool.
Yeah, it looks like they were sailing out into open ocean. But you, flying up, you see the entire coastline here from nearly as far as you can see is lined with the docks and ships as far as the eye can see. And you saw a majority of them shipping out. setting sail.
there's a huge launch happening right now.
Huge launch.
Okay, awesome. As I land,
The ships are sailing. It looks like a considerable amount of soldiers are headed to the war front.
What?
Yes, as far as I could see, they're up and down the edge of where the ocean meets the land. The ship after ship after ship heading into the ocean and into the ocean. I couldn't even count them. There were so many.
Were they headed north or south?
which way's the war front?
You saw them heading north, which would be going up and around the nation of Ondale and up and around the entire northern piece of the continent.
They seem to be going that way.
And I point toward that direction, which would be north, I suppose.
Should we be concerned about that? Does that
I
involve
think
you?
on the list of things that concern us, it's oddly low.
Oh.
We have world-ending events to attend to. If there's no world left, then it doesn't matter who wins the war. Unless we want to pick a side, and I don't think that's really what our role is in all this.
I would tend to agree. If there's no world to squabble over, where will they go?
It might be worth it to maybe wander around the city and get some information, though. See why so many ships left. I mean, the war's been going on quite a long time. Maybe something really big is happening, and it might prevent us from saving the world, like you said.
It's a good point. It could affect how we travel and where we go.
I had trouble at the docks here. Seems people are more sensitive than before to even the slightest variation in apparel. Anything that makes us stick out. And I sort of just like look at our very diverse group of people. Yeah, we do sort of draw attention.
I'm afraid that might be unavoidable.
But I think that will only get worse as this conflict becomes more egregious.
It's true. I also had a very strange experience in the city. Do any of you know about a lighthouse here? Have any of you been here before? We arrived so quickly.
I think I saw one from my vantage point up there.
Shry, you saw one pretty far south. Almost, as you were flying around, you wouldn't have been able to tell that it was a lighthouse until Desley just mentioned a lighthouse and it sort of clicks in your head. And Olma, you passed by a lighthouse as you were running south. It was sort of more on the coastline, though, from where you were running.
When I was trying to get there or when I was coming back?
I'm sorry, when you were coming back. Well, both ways.
Okay.
Both ways. You were able to see a lighthouse, yes.
Yeah, I saw a lighthouse.
They seem to be... I don't even know how to describe what was going on in there. Experimentations would be my best way of describing it. It was the place where I was able to get one of the parts of the thing that saved you, Shry.
You went inside the lighthouse?
I did, yes. They asked me to participate in something in order to get what we needed.
Participate in something like what?
I'd squint heavily.
Something illegal?
Well, it wasn't illegal, but it was very strange, and I don't know, it was very concerning. And
What did you
I'm not
do?
quite sure. I don't know how to explain it. There were these rooms, and they watched me go through them, and they made things happen. I don't know, they seemed very powerful, and I was just concerned that they were here taking advantage of people like that.
Was it like a test? Like, did you run through a maze?
I didn't run through a maze. It changed reality around me. It seemed to be able to change my perception of what was real and what was actually in front of me.
Huh. Yeah, my thing was kind of like that too. Like, I didn't know what was real and what was not real. But I did not go into a lighthouse.
I just thought it might be worth checking out before we leave because lots of strange things seem to be happening, and that was just concerning.
I reach into my backpack and I pull out a little box.
Oh, what's inside that?
Desley, you immediately
And I
recognize
was
the
like,
device that she pulls out.
This was what was making me see crazy things. But I turned it off and then I didn't see anything anymore.
Desley, on the top of it, you see a closed aperture. You see a small wooden and metal box around it, and you see a single button on the front.
My eyes go wide. I'm immediately going to go into my bag and pull out the thing I took from the elf, not elf, the person that I fought. I'm going to pull that out and hold it up like next to it.
It looks of similar design, and sort of you can see some design similarities. But this device that Olma is holding was the device that you had to shut off in the first room that you had encountered.
Right. Looking at the make of both of these things, am I reminded of maybe a particular observatory or something that I have visited in the past?
Yes, the make is similar in the sort of wood and metal contraption-ness of it. The way that the metal and the wood sort of weave into each other, that the wood is almost more of a design element, where the metal is more where the functionality comes from. Yeah, it seems a little similar.
So first I'm going to mutter under my breath and go, I really wish Tarka was here. And then I'm going to turn back to everyone in the group and go, these things fit together. They're things that I've seen before, and they're related to your search for these elemental plane keys. There was and I like try to recall and try not to think too much about like what I did in the actual lighthouse. And I recall there was a mind flayer. That's what they're called. I think they have like a face with weird and then there was someone
like tentacles, like
yes, exactly like that. And then next to that person there was also someone whose face was always shifting, and their voice seemed to be 3 voices all at once, constantly.
Oh,
A mind flayer and a face shifting entity.
Yes,
They were there in the lighthouse.
they were the people who. It was like it was like a trial, but it was also like an experiment, and they put me in there and watched me do the things that I did.
And these people gave you the ingredient that saved Stria's life?
They gave me the gold in order to get what I needed from the mayor.
They paid you to participate in some kind of experiment.
Essentially.
Did they say their name at any point in this?
They were very mysterious and very vague. They seemed only interested in offering me money and seeing what I was made of.
Oh, no, you remember the Cure ruins, aye?
uh-huh.
And you remember the mirrors that opened up that we face shifter and a mind flayer?
Uh-huh.
Kodam Bo,
Oh.
I believe was what Artemisia referred to them as. Thessaly, you received payment and I guess helped in the experiment of one of the leaders of the Order of the Red Wolf.
What did they have you do?
Wait, no, that can't be right because. But they knew the mayor. They knew the mayor here in Saddlemount. They seemed well established in the trade in the city. They didn't.
They're
they're
everywhere.
strange, but-
They're everywhere.
What did they
though.
have you do?
I could just show you the lighthouse. I'm sure everything's still there. I don't think that. It was ridiculous. Nothing actually happened.
Yes, perhaps they only use the lighthouse every now and then. Besides, I would very much like to check out this lighthouse. Perhaps,
Okay, but maybe not because you shouldn't open these things. And I hold the box really close because if you open it, it unleashes like so much darkness and spooky and
Darkness.
and there's a cave, and the cave is full of everything that wants to hurt you, and it chases you through it, and it's like a maze, and there were so many dead bodies, and then there's a doorway, and in the doorway there's all
Okay,
this-
Oma, we won't open the box.
That does sound like something to be avoided.
It's not. It. I believe it causes visions of what you're most afraid of.
Nope, that doesn't make sense.
That does sound up their alley, though.
I'm sorry you had to run away for some really terrifying things, Olma. That sounds awful.
Yeah, but they were like real.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they were chasing me.
I felt very sure that what was happening to me was real, and the only conclusion at the end of that experiment was that none of it actually happened.
Okay, but why would there be so many dead bodies?
I think you saw the dead bodies, Olma. I don't think that they were actually there.
when I was in my dream being chased by those crustaceous people, I thought they were real too.
I kind of just give a quizzical look at Shia.
No, because
Yes,
I've never seen those like tentacle thingies before, other than in the mirror. And so why would I be scared of them? They're not spooky.
I think they're pretty scary on their own. But
No, I
But
saw a
my-
letter. No, I read a letter. They were like going. There were people who were there camping out, and they were hunting a nest.
You read a letter?
Yeah, I read a letter that there was a camp in the caves, and that's where all the dead bodies were from. And they were hunting a nest of the like tentacle thingies. Apparently, there's a big nest there, and I did see a doorway.
Was this before or after you opened the box?
No, I didn't open the box. Why would I open the box?
Well, I don't...
Perhaps there's a smaller conflict in this part of the world between these tentacled beings and these...
Have I ever seen a mind flayer before? Ever?
You saw one in the mirror at
That's the only
Declare
place that
ruins. But
we don't know-
but it's
we
not
don't know
actually
where they
that would be
are,
an
right?
image of one, not an actual one.
correct. Yeah, you have never in
Okay.
person seen one. No.
Okay.
how much would I know just from my sort of notion of history of like the drow and their interaction with mind flayers. Like, would I have more context than a normal person, or basically the same?
I would say within the drow culture that you have come across, you have maybe even heard once about these creatures. Interaction incredibly sparse, not a interwoven history.
Sure.
Yeah, really nothing.
Would I understand the nature of a nest within a city, or would I not really be able to put those together? I guess is what I'm kind of...
Nest within a city. Make a history check.
Okay. 15.
15. No, you wouldn't know their interactions with. You barely know their interactions with the drow.
Yeah.
So you don't know any of nests in cities, that sort of stuff.
Coordinates. Okay.
Okay, so you saw the guy Codonvo. He's with the Strata Periana. Did you hear do any of those names make sense?
People.
They got it right.
Strata Periana.
Yeah. Good job. I give her a little pat on her head.
I'll lean over to Thessaly. I like Shraya Piranha more.
I think Strata Piranha's better.
Wait, don't confuse. I'm not to be confused with the.
Do you turn into a piranha sometimes?
I've never tried.
There's some sort of... We don't know anything about them, but the organization...
That name didn't come up when you were doing your little...
They didn't tell me anything. They just gave me money.
Well, if Codonvo is here, Saddlemount, should we try to
they're not.
take them out?
They're not here.
To imprison them back in the void, or...
They were here, but they're not here anymore.
I think we should check out the lighthouse for clues.
We need to be careful, though. I don't know much about mind flayers. I know they're powerful.
What's a mind flayer?
Yes, was this? Are you referring to the same thing as
This tentacled beast?
the tentacled beings?
In
The tentacle monster's called a mind flayer?
From what I saw in the mirror,
Illithid.
Here.
Illithid?
They're
yeah.
dangerous.
What do they do?
They're the boogeyman of... in Undercommon, it's kind of... there's a very negative connotation to their name.
I do see the image in the mirror. I think the one I'm remembering. They seem very aquatic, right? Couldn't we just I could just scoop one up and eat it or something if it's small enough?
Oh, no,
I
it's
don't
big.
think-
It's
No,
very
they-
big.
As the name suggests, Shreya, they tamper with your mind.
They mess with your head.
To these boxes, these
that's-
contraptions.
Their specialty. They do that.
And that's what they did in there?
That's what I think. I was in a room and I saw a box like what Olma had, and it had this sort of, there's the aperture on it, right? Like it had this.
Oh, don't open it. Don't
No,
touch
I
it.
gesture to it. I don't. I keep my hand very far away, but gesture to the aperture specifically. I'm not going to open it. I really don't want to relive that experience. And when it opened, all of this mist came out. And I tried for a long time not to breathe it in, but I had to. And then when I did, I saw some really terrible things.
Okay, so for me, it was already open in the cave and I didn't touch it. I didn't even know it was there. And I just had to get the item, but I had to get those thorns, but they were in the cave. And so that's why I had to go in the cave. But there was already smoke there.
Did you inhale it?
I was in a cave. What else was I supposed to breathe?
I don't know. Sometimes when I see strange things in the air, I get a little concerned, and
It was
my
dark.
first instinct.
I didn't even know that there was smoke in the air. It was too dark to know.
When I see strange things in the air, I tend to chase them.
Oh, don't do that with this, though.
No.
I think maybe some of our questions could be answered if we go to the lighthouse, and I'm still concerned myself that someone like that would be allowed to operate in the city. Like I said, they seem to have full permission from the person who leads Saddlemount to do this.
Well, but isn't that kind of the thing with the Order of the Red Wolf? Is like they get power in everywhere.
They
so
infiltrate circles.
that they're everywhere.
It's kind of odd. I don't think of Saddlemount as like a position of power, though.
Everywhere.
There's a lot of. I mean, it's a port, though, right? I mean, there's a lot of trade.
That's
a lot
true.
of things could come in and out that some people might want to get a hold of.
Everywhere.
It's where they
Yeah, so-
manufacture the ships.
If they're here, we have to take a look.
Yes,
We have to.
I
try
would
and stop.
suggest that we do that.
Yeah, we have
And
to try. And
look
if they're not there at the lighthouse, maybe we just bust it up a bit.
and maybe
Yes.
there's clues.
I don't know. We don't want
But
that.
our lighthouse
And there's a very powerful means of reflecting light in there.
Not
And
the part of the lighthouse, not the beacon at the top, but this place they did this experiment on you.
But also, do we care if the lighthouse works?
oh, I very much care. Yes,
Almost, lighthouse
it is the shiniest object in this general vicinity.
They help people on the sea, so if you destroy the lighthouse, you potentially could be hurting people.
People like Reynolds, who
Who's Reynold?
he was the he helped me get the corpse flower. Not only retrieve it, but bring it to Shreya.
Is he part of all of those ships that were going to war?
He's sort of a tertiary role. He just
But if the ships can't get back from
scavenger.
war, then maybe war never happened.
But what about the innocent
No.
fisher people that are on the seas going out and coming back to make a living?
Well, can't they?
Yes, they need that
can't
lighthouse.
Fish, like James does, in rivers.
Maybe this is how they fish. This is how they make their living. So if you destroy the lighthouse, you're destroying a way for your Saddlemount James to get home.
If we want to stop the warships, then we should stop the place where they're built, not the place that makes sure the people aboard them are safe. That's
I think right now in front of us, we have a way to potentially find out information or stop this Red Wolf stuff.
I just need to understand something. Are you saying that the Red Wolf that was a base that they had here, and they're just allowed to take people and do things like that to them?
the way the Red Wolf cult works is by grabbing people who are at the peak of power, such as this Codon Foe, joining them with their cause, and then that way the organization just grows and grows like a demonic spider. It's at the very top is this outcast figure, and then it just trickles down from there, and they've recruited this Codon Foe to their cause.
And if their goal is to spread chaos, then I would guess like a big item that could make everybody face all of their fears all the time would probably be really important. So if they're doing like experiments on them, it's probably just to make it more widespread, not because like they're trying to spread chaos to one person, but probably like make it like a big thing that could hit everyone.
What exactly were they testing you on, Thessaly? What was the nature of the test?
They were very vague. They didn't want to talk to me. They offered the gold because it was going to be an absurd amount that I don't think any of us would have had. Did anyone have 16,000 gold?
They offered you 16,000 gold to do this experiment?
Is that a lot?
Do you have any more left?
Oh no, I didn't get that. All of it was for the. There was a direct exchange.
What an expensive item.
16,000
I
for
didn't
one
price it.
person going through one experiment? Gosh,
And
I didn't get anything for going through those caves.
You should have just let me die.
Bought a new shrine. His name's Priya.
It was certainly quite a sum of money. Shreya, we would never let you die, even for that much money.
No, I'm glad you didn't actually confirm that you would have.
Okay.
Wait, okay, I have a question. Do you think that the item actually costs that much, or do you think it's just like exponentially higher because they know that they can get that much for it because someone will die if they don't get it? So now they've priced it unreasonably high, even though that item actually doesn't cost anything.
Does this even matter? We should go and figure this out. Like, what are we talking about?
Let's go to I don't think I can explain what happened to me in a way that is going to satisfy your questions. We should just go there. It's not that far.
I just forgot. Seeker's not here. Where is he?
Oh no!
We're giving him till the afternoon, so let's go to the lighthouse. And
Wait, but then what do we...
Should we go without him? I mean...
Well, or we just wait here and just keep talking about this. Because I really want to know if that item actually costs $16,000.
Did you say that they're not there anymore, so it's empty? Like, is it safe right now? Or are they doing tests right now and people are getting hurt or killed?
I watched them leave.
Okay, so they're gone.
They left in a very final sort of fashion.
Did you get their little boxy?
I didn't get the box. I got this, which...
What does it do?
I don't know. I wish Seeker were here. He's so good with magic items, and I don't know what this is. I watched someone put it into their arm, and it changed them.
As you look at this device that Thessaly is holding, you see, again, a very similar sort of design to the other box, but this one round and circular. And on the back of it, there are two large, about 3-inch needles poking out of the back. And on the front face of it, you see a dial, as well as 2 empty glass vials inlaid on the face of it, made of wood and metal. And notably also around the edge, you see a strap, probably something that would be able to be strapped to an arm.
I would not recommend anyone in this group who seems to have reckless tendencies, and I look at Shreya and Flynn respectively.
Hey.
And then I kind of sideways glance at Olma, to mess with this.
Me?
No, none of you. I am going to hold on to it until I'm sure. I would prefer to give it to Seeker.
Okay.
Or at least have him look at it before anyone wants to mess with it.
So, what do we do? Do we just wait? Like, do we actually just wait all afternoon and just sit here?
We could leave a note on the door of the nature.
Well, Thessaly
place.
has a way of communicating with Seeker, so wherever we go, you could just tell him we've gone
I
there.
could tell
Really?
him to meet us. I have no way of confirming he gets it, though, unless he actually shows up at the... I guess it couldn't hurt.
Well, I mean, also, Kellic, I mean, I know it taps you, but is that something you can send? I mean, having an immediate way to find out if he's okay is probably important, right?
Yes, the last time I sent one of these, before today, anyway, Shreya was dying, so I suppose it's worth the expenditure. And I kind of just my arm is visibly, you can see my arm is shaking, and I'm also making a concerted effort to stop it. Just anytime I'm catching it.
But also, we could make a plan. Like, a list of things that we would like to do. Like, you want to go to the lighthouse.
Well, how close are we? How many of these gates are we aware of?
I'll pull out my map
Three
and I'll
of-
kind of
three of them?
lay it down on the ground.
Yeah.
The only other was the gate. They opened it. They tried to open a gate, right? That one.
There's the
One of
one at
them.
the Dakir ruin.
We have that one, yeah.
Most terrifying gate I'd ever seen.
We have the key to that one.
Yeah, we do. So that one
So
is
we could
desperate.
open it if we wanted to.
No!
Oh.
Please don't!
We're not going to open it.
We're not gonna. I'm just saying we have the power now.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
that one's under control.
Scary thought.
But there are some unaccounted for, right?
Yeah, but how do we even find one that's unaccounted for?
I wonder if they're arranged in some meaningful pattern. You'd think if these gates are meant to open up the world to endless chaos, then you'd want them to be at least equidistant from each other.
Well, to me, it kind of seems like they're close to what they need to be. So, like, the air one is up in the mountains, kind of by air.
Wait,
And the water one is over here, kind of by water.
Where is the water one?
The water
Oh,
one
it's in the-
is
it's in the
sort
islands.
of it's circled kind of in between some of the islands of Freywood.
And then we have one.
So,
And
like,
the third one that we have accounted for
Is the Dakir ruins.
is the Dakir
here.
ruins.
So I don't
we
know
just
why
have
that
three
would be
more.
fire, but like maybe back in the day there was a lot of fire there. So like Earth Maybe we could look at the map and be like, where would I be if I were a portal to Earth?
Perhaps the tear.
Maybe, but wouldn't it be better just to try and find the locksmith instead of chasing around
But
potential
everybody's
areas?
looking for the locksmith,
Right.
and nobody else can find him, so why could we find him?
Because we're awesome.
Who's this?
I have a logistical question because I don't know how familiar I am with maps and maps of the world. I generally traverse it by land and take like points of reference and
Yep.
landmarks.
I see where you're going with this.
Cameron, can look at a map and know something that Shreya as Shreya may or may not know.
For this question that you have not posed yet, but I already know what you're going to ask, I'm going to have you make a nature check for me.
All right.
Mystery nature check.
Oh yeah, I suppose it is a mystery.
You don't know.
That's true. Okay.
No way.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
So Shreya is pretty good at maps.
I mean, I guess in this case.
You all see Shreya.
Use my dice.
You all see Shreya sort of trace his fingers along the map into different areas. Some areas you all have been, some of you all have not. And Shreya, as you're tracing your fingers, you immediately recognize where this circle is marked on the map in the Venvo Rise.
Wait. That must mean then the legends were true. We were closer than we thought.
What are you talking about?
What?
And you just start to see me like start shaking and shivering and
No, but that can't be.
I need a minute. And I'm gonna grab my staff. And sit down. And I'm just twirling the staff in between my hands.
I'll look at the map. Where was he pointing and where was he holding on? What
His
point on the
finger
map?
traced over where the circle to what was indicated as air is.
The
on
air one. Okay. and
Yes,
that's-
at the Venvo Rise.
Okay.
Yes.
You okay, Shreya?
You see me rocking a little bit back and forth as I climb. I use the staff to like climb myself back up to the top of it. And I take a deep breath. And then you slowly see the staff point back toward my forehead as my feathers stretch out and then back in.
Flynn, let me see that map again.
Is that a yes or a no, do you think?
I don't think it's ever a yes. Oh no.
And
okay.
I point to
This mountain here. This chain of land here.
Yeah.
Over this bay here. And then on toward here. I just put these pieces together. This is my childhood home.
and I point to where the plane or where the gate would be.
The Venvo Rise?
What do you mean it's your home? You know this place?
Where I was brought up as a very, well, since I was this big.
Then I motion with my hands and to show like about 3 feet tall.
Yes, my earliest memories of, well, beings that look just like me. And including Tito.
And I trail off.
He's gone.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, we didn't see him back at the Void.
Yeah.
Tito, you didn't see him there.
No, I mean, Flynn, was he, had he returned when you dropped off Eleanor?
I try and remember. I don't think I saw him there. I mean, I was only there briefly, but I didn't notice him.
I'd made such haste on my journey to come up here, I didn't even realize that he was gone.
Do you think he went here? And I'll point to where he's pointing on the map.
Well, that is where he is from, because it is where I'm from. And he was a very important figure in our community when I left. I just can't believe that. I thought they were all crazy thinking that these old myths had any kind of validity.
What myths?
Well, now it makes sense. If all of these different gateways to other landscapes or planes made of these elements are true, then this area the close to my homeland is is where we all came from as a tribe.
You're from a different plane?
No, not me. My ancestors. I never believed their legends. I thought they were following a kind of inflated myth to try to get people to fall in line. I never thought there was any truth to it.
But now that you know that there's a plane gateway there, you feel differently?
Well, it's evidence that some place like this might exist and that the elders in command and in charge might have actually been referring to a place that was lost.
They were telling the truth.
Shia, do you think if a representative of the Red Wolf were to contact your tribe that they would be interested in undertaking trying to open that rift?
Their legends of this place idealized it. And as much as they were wise and keen and even-minded, they were prone to corruption.
That
So
worries
if
me.
somebody told them that they could open it for them,
Literally giving them access to...
they would say yes.
We might need to head there sooner than
I
we
can't say that for certain.
That's not good.
Well, the key hasn't been found.
That we know of.
Maybe they don't need one to get to there.
I think they do, because that's like, didn't you have like outlines of other keys? So that would imply that there were more keys.
We had they weren't I took an outline, but they were drawings.
Mhm.
I made an outline of
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And we had no leads on locations
No one
of
has
those
no
keys.
leads on them, right?
Only what was
Correct.
ours.
As far as you know,
When we
no one has
yeah,
any leads. Anyone that you have talked to, anyone that you have
just the fire.
come in
Right.
contact with.
Right.
Yes.
So
It's speculation. When Seeker and I were there, it wasn't as though someone had taken an etching of this thing. It was as though someone had drawn it, as though to imagine what it would look like if they could obtain it, and then we sort of tried to mimic that.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe it's a universal key, and it'll work there.
that's a scary thought.
That's terrifying.
I don't know. I mean, we
Something. Here's my thought. We can't personally guard each of these gates, but if we were to maybe get to Shriya's people before the Red Wolf does, they could guard the gate.
It would be a very difficult conversation. These legends are hundreds of years old, and they foretell of a grand return to the homeland in the sky.
Maybe they can be convinced that this return would be a perversion of their holy reprisal.
I just don't know if they'd see it that way. Part of the reason I left was because I was at odds with their very intent and dedication to these legends.
But, sorry, don't we know of another way to open a portal to the plane of air? Because that's how we all switched our bodies back.
Right,
So
but
couldn't we
Right.
tell them, like, we could
What?
give them a way without the key? And we're nice people?
I would, someone who's seen the world, and granted, a lot of the world I'd seen and have seen from that point has scared me and excited me in many ways. But my brethren don't see the world that way. They are very protective and they keep to themselves.
what do you think we should do, Shreya?
Well, I think that if they're in danger, if they're in trouble, there's a chance that if we get there before the Red Wolf, we could do more good and perhaps unite them against them. I had a crazy idea when I was looking at that lighthouse. I had sent smaller winged birds to try to go check on them not too long ago. I had an idea, perhaps, that maybe I could channel the energies of the lighthouse, send up that beacon. Perhaps my messengers could find us, and they could tell us what's going on there if enough time has passed.
What beacon?
This.
And I tap the crystal to my forehead, and plant it in the ground and release it. And out from it cascades this like column of white and pink and purple light, and it just shoots up toward the sky. But it's about as thin as maybe like 3 fingers and a thumb put together.
Whoa.
Does it go through the wood of the ceiling, or does it stop?
So you see it like almost pass through the ceiling, and then you see these glowing points as if it were to head through the ceiling and then out toward the sky.
I'm gonna run outside.
Yeah, I'll run outside.
I'm gonna run outside and look up into the sky.
Yes.
Does it?
You see a thin pink beam shooting off into the sky.
Whoa, Alma.
Do you think it's breaking a hole in the ceiling?
Maybe. Magic is cool.
Are we gonna have to pay to fix that?
Not if we leave.
Ulma and Flynn, what is your passive perception?
I don't know. How do I calculate? Oh no, I think I have it here. 16.
13.
You guys are looking up and fixating on this point, and for a moment, Flynn, you turn your head down and you look across the street and you see a man standing there staring at you
How far away?
just across the street, maybe 40 feet away.
Do I recognize him?
Man in very plain seeming, simple clothes. Almost like a tool belt around his waist.
I just nudge Oma a little bit. 'cause she's
Staring at the light, yeah.
Oma. Oma.
That light is so cool. Do you think we could use it to like...
Hello?
What?
Who are you?
Flynn, don't talk to strangers.
Staring at me. Why are you staring at me?
Flynn,
Just stand there.
What is he doing?
I don't know, but you should just leave him be.
What's his expression? Can I pick that up?
Neutral, but as you look at him more, turning towards anger.
Oh,
I swear I don't know anything about this person. I've never stolen from him.
you promise you didn't
I
like give him your
promise.
sword and take it away?
I didn't. I mean,
You look over at this man once more, and you can see him take a couple steps towards
Oh.
you.
Do you think he cares about the
Keeps
beam?
walking towards you,
what do you need, friend? I hold my hand up as like a stop almost.
and continues walking, and almost presses his chest into your hand.
If he were to get that
hey.
close, I would back up and I would summon my sword. I said back up!
Figure stops.
What do you need?
Hello, friend.
Oh, why do you can't?
See?
So you did steal something from him. You're the worst.
You did actually steal something.
Why
from
do
me.
you look? What's going on?
You like their new look?
Do I like the new?
Wait.
What am I looking at?
You have agency here.
Yeah, what's he look
You're
like?
gonna have a grumpy face.
You're looking at this figure, and sort of a little bit of a grumpy face, but almost like perfectly average, middle of the road, very plain clothes, some like short, almost like frizzy hair. Nothing, absolutely nothing remarkable about this person.
I think I like your other face better, personally. No, I like it when he has no hair.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Trying to blend in. Just be one of the normal town folk.
Well, it worked. I didn't even recognize you.
Can you try being less grumpy though? Does this face go not grumpy?
How are you even doing this?
This is my resting grumpy face.
Well, what if you try to smile with this face? What does it look like?
Like grimace. Like
Don't do that. That looks worse.
No,
That's
it's
worse.
like-
That's worse.
That's
No, go
worse.
back. Whatever you.
That's not good.
No, that's like a
feels-
monster.
How long are you gonna be like this?
As long as I want. Just
Oh.
for a little while. Maybe until we aren't, in the middle of it.
Guys, I have an idea.
You want to try and prank the group?
Oh my god, what if we did? What if he I don't know. What do you want to do? What if he causes a big fight? What if he tries to
I love a good prank.
Maybe.
Maybe he could drag you in like he knocked you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What about
then
you,
could, I could be on his shoulders and be bashing his head.
Yeah. Let's do it. Wait. Is he? He'll be fine.
I won't actually hurt him.
Here, you can hold my sword.
Okay. feels so nice.
I know.
Okay,
I summon it back.
I'm gonna
I'm kidding. Here. I just had to do it once.
I'm gonna scream for help. I'm gonna scream for help.
This face is so scary. I don't like it.
Back inside, I'm just looking down at this beam of light and back up a try. Is this just gonna be here now, or is this the kind of thing we can?
No, wait. That was for demonstration.
And I grab the staff
Okay.
and I flick my wrist back, and it kind of immediately sucks back up into the crystal, and the crystal gives a quick pulse and then goes done.
Just trying to think of how we could explain that to the management here. It's just a permanent beacon of light.
Oh no!
I'm on Seeker's shoulders, and I'm like fake hitting him on the head with my hands.
Hey, get off
and
me!
Flynn is like
Get off
on the
me! I'm
ground,
hanging
like
by my foot as he's dragging me in and leaves me at the entrance.
I found this.
I'm rushing
And he was
forward.
carrying this.
I'm gonna have all three of you make a performance check.
All right.
That's pretty daggone good.
Performance.
20, 21.
10 for me. But I'm also just on
He's
the
just
ground.
playing dead.
He's just playing dead. It doesn't take too much.
That's true.
Shreya, Thessaly, and Kellic. I'm gonna have you all roll initiative.
Oh, hey, DM.
Yeah.
When I went to sleep last night, how many points of exhaustion did I lose?
You lost one.
Only one?
How many do you have?
I had two.
2? Okay, so you're down to 1. Okay.
I'm down to 1. But it means I get disadvantage, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So fun. That's a 4.
All right, Kellic,
That's an 8. 10.
Shreya.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Shreya, you see a stranger with Olma on his shoulders, beating his head in, and an unconscious Flynn being dragged into the inn. What are you going to do?
Drop the little one, or else.
And I pulse my I pulse my hand forward with the staff in it, and it glows.
What say you?
All right, Kellic, what are you doing? Realistically,
Yeah.
Kellic sees Olma beating someone up and Flynn being dragged in, seemingly unconscious.
By a normal looking man?
With
Buy it.
his sword with my sword in his hand.
Oh,
With my
your
weapon.
sword?
I have his sword.
So with a sentinel
I'm just
sword
lying, yeah.
in his hand?
Mm.
What is Kellic doing?
Oh, wait.
Well, first,
yeah,
okay.
okay.
Can I tell what Flynn? Is Flynn alive? I see Flynn being dragged.
In that split second, you see Flynn being dragged. You don't see that there is blood or broken bones. There is nothing to indicate death.
Apparently gay. I'm gonna cast hold person on. on this assailant.
Okay.
So that's a wisdom saving throw for Seeker.
I got a lot of that.
What?
4.
Seeker.
Does a 4 work to save?
What is it?
Of course not. Seeker, you completely freeze in place. Olma, you feel him beneath you completely freeze. You're almost jolted forward as his movement is completely stopped. And Flynn, you feel yourself just not being dragged anymore.
Just laying there.
As I have Seeker's tether in my hand, and I'm holding him. Oh my! What's going on?
Kellic, you saved us!
Well, you're welcome. But get Flynn. Is he all right?
No.
He doesn't. He looks fine. What happened to this guy?
This is the worst villain I've ever met in my entire life. Look at his mean face. He's so grumpy.
Face is stuck with like the smile grimace.
Oh.
Because you're paralyzed right now.
hearing Olma's voice,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
having been around kids,
Yeah,
can I see if I believe some of this a little bit?
Not even a roll, just very heavy sarcasm
Yeah,
is picked
okay.
up. Yeah.
I'm gonna go, oh no, Olma, what happened?
Oh my gosh! We were looking at the beacon, and then all of a sudden, this mean face walked in, and he started beating Flynn up because Flynn is so short and can't do anything by himself. And then,
Hey!
Flynn, you're unconscious.
Right. Oh, my insides are.
who is this man I am holding?
I don't know. Maybe you should ask him.
Graces of the gods are not infinite, Alma. And I dispel my whole person.
They're playing a game.
And as I see him recoil, I'm going to cast Control Wind's Downdraft as I see him be released.
Okay. What does that do?
So that's going to be from Seeker that's going to be a strength saving throw.
Wait, is it all of us? Because we're all like.
I'm on top of him.
Yeah, what's the radius of
The radius in the downdraft is oh shit.
What are we rolling, baby? What are we rolling?
Yeah, I already said I did it.
If
Yeah.
he falls, I fall. So
It's 100-foot cube.
it's
So
literally-
like
Hang on.
You would
Oh,
you would
okay. I thought
know
it was
that
like-
you would know that this spell is huge.
So it would be the whole bar.
This would bring the building down.
Yeah.
Oh.
You'd collapse.
Would it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You would know that.
All right.
Give a small
Fine.
version of it.
Yeah, I'll just do Gust. I'm just going to move him with Gust then.
Okay. What does that do?
So a strong wind, and it's just going to blow in that direction and keep him from getting any closer to us. Basically, his movement is reduced to half if he tries to move forward.
Okay.
So
Seeker, you feel an immediate gust of wind in front of you.
And I'm no longer paralyzed.
You're no longer paralyzed.
So I'm shaking it off. I'm like, man, y'all drive a hard bargain. And as I turn or I reach to my hand and turn a ring, it's like, oh my goodness, what? You just do that to people you just see like right away?
Got you guys.
I like tilt. I'm on his shoulder, so I like tilt my face down next to his face, like I'm like bent over sideways. We got you.
So, hello, I'm here.
We found him.
Tarka, how old are you?
I'm probably the oldest in this group.
And you're going to let them pull pranks, and Kellic almost, and Shreya almost. Everyone here could kill each other.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Oh, no.
Alma, what did she call him?
I don't know.
What'd you say?
Seeker.
I thought you said.
So, what are we doing?
Yep. Anyway, moving on. So
I still haven't released the Gust yet. I'm still my eyes are. I'm still gritting my beak and like looking at him like.
You see Seeker in front of you now at this point.
Be careful when you pull those types of pranks. You never know what might happen.
I definitely thought it was a possibility because you all are very capable. I've seen you. Yes, very capable. But it was worth it. Look at your faces.
Although I will say,
Gaelic, smile, man.
I am this close to actually killing you, Seeker. Just as you are now.
Come on.
the way this gust is blowing your robes make you look quite impressive.
Hey, wait a second. You're good. Shreya, you seem, healthy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes,
We got him. He's.
I got the shambling mount. Yes, sap. Yeah.
that was due to you as well.
Oh, the sap. Yeah.
You can.
Oh, and I immediately release the spell, run toward him, and just give him a big bird hug.
No.
I'm still on
It
his
is good to
shoulders.
see you too.
I'm not trying his head.
Yeah. Wait. What happened, Seeker? Why didn't you show up?
Yeah,
I'll
you're
reach
all
down
right,
and,
Seeker.
help
I'm
you
very
up.
concerned for your health.
And I'll put my hand up for a high five. And are you still on my shoulders? I'm gonna reach up for a high five from Oma.
I high five.
Super
At
good.
the same time.
Yeah, I think I was being followed. Actually, I know I was being followed by some type of a magical orb in the sky, and I didn't want it to find all of you. So I went and hid in a butcher shop for a while, and I ran around the city. They have really bad thieves. I saw some thieves trying to steal stuff. It was very subpar.
Wait.
Very
So
subpar.
are you still being chased, or are you sure you got rid of the tail?
I feel pretty good right now, but I have to check every once in a while.
As as I get down from the shoulder.
I'll look to Seeker's neck. Does he have an amulet like that we have? I can't remember if he still has one.
I believe so.
Oh yeah.
Is that gonna? I mean, you have that on, so you should be okay, right? If you lost their immediate from their vision or whatever, you're good, right? I don't know how these work.
Well, I mean, magic is a funny thing, and there's spells, and then there's counter spells, and then there's spells that counter those spells, and then some people have stronger things that can do things that these things can't do. I don't know, man.
Okay, well, we'll just. This is another thing we
It's
gotta
nice
look
of
out
you to not have us all be caught. So thank you.
Why would I do that? I don't want,
Well, it's good that you're here because we've actually
You're welcome.
come up with some ideas on what to do next. And I'll point to Cecily.
I think we should go somewhere.
This sounds good. Yes.
It's here in the city.
You know what these are? I hold the box
In the box.
and I nudge.
And I hold out the armband device.
Do I know what? I don't know what it is, but I've seen something like it.
Do you know what they're used for? What the purpose of them is?
No.
Do you have any way of finding out?
Shaking my head. Oh yes. I can. If you give me, let's see. Could you give me like some time, like 10 minutes, 15, 20, some time? I need some time, and I could.
Yeah, but don't open it because if you open it,
Don't
it's gonna be real bad.
don't open the aperture.
Okay, but maybe we should go somewhere because I have to do some stuff and say things and.
We should go back up to our rooms. I mean, I guess we can go to one of them.
I think,
Or we-
privacy is
Right.
probably
Or we
a
could
good
go to the
idea. We've
house.
already made enough of a stink.
Yeah.
We could go to the
really
shack.
good. You know what you need? So I was told that this shambling mound sap I got extra is really good in tea. And I know you like things that are like boring, but if you put these, in the tea, it'd be less boring. You know what I mean?
So you think the remedy for deceiving me with a juvenile trick is to insult me taste and offer me a mysterious
Absolutely,
ingredient
yes.
for tea?
Yes, I think this is the way.
He's trying.
I grumpily snatch the sap out of his hand.
I look at Alma, I'm like, did my face look like that?
I look at Kelly's face and then I look at Trav. Yeah, a little, except it looks good on Kelly because when he's grumpy, he's always grumpy.
This
So
is true.
it kind of
Like
works.
normal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it works, And when you were grumpy, it was like, I don't know, maybe it's just because you had more like deep wrinkles, and so your whole face looked like shadowed
Oh.
by your.
I will practice. I need more practice.
I'm not normally grumpy. I'm contemplative.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
deep
that.
Thoughtful.
Yes.
Okay.
Deep in
You're
thought,
right.
this one.
That's right.
I'm glad
I
you're
told
okay.
you.
and
I told him
Well,
you look
try it.
better.
Excuse me, do they serve tea here?
No,
I'd like a cup of tea.
Yes, feeling quite well.
maybe we should go to the shack.
He's like,
Well, I don't
do
know.
this thing.
I don't know if we should go there. I feel like she kind of didn't want us to come back.
No, the shack. Hayfreed shack.
Oh yeah, I guess we
Right.
could go all the way back, but
What about the lighthouse?
No, we will. I'm not saying let's go all the way back. I'm saying let's just go to the shack if you need space. Because I don't know if we can go back up to the rooms. They're not our rooms anymore.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Could we
right.
just make it our room for like a little bit for some money?
yeah, I'll just go up to the counter of where the innkeep is, and hi, can we just have a room for a bit? How long do you need?
How many items?
2.
Half an hour.
Just for like a few hours.
You're going to have to pay for the full day.
The full day.
The full
That's
day.
fine.
This is
I can
a
cover that.
fine
I'll do it.
But we have the shack.
Okay, yeah,
for some of us.
yeah. Let's do that. I guess it's fine.
All right, so we're going.
I mean, I can understand you not trusting me, but like sometimes I have good ideas.
I don't think.
Every once in a while.
Do you not trust her, Flynn?
I don't know. She said it. I'm kind of just going with it.
This is
Okay.
very interesting from the sword thief. Not trusting. Anyway,
DM, was I able to get a cup of tea?
No, it does not
Right,
appear
we're-
that this inn has a kitchen of any sort.
I summon my sword back from his hand.
we will find you some tea along the way.
Okay, look, I have a kettle. If you want to, we can light a fire, boil some water.
Oh, that sounds very nice, Cecily.
All right.
Just as long as this isn't some other trick, Seeker. This
You
is
wouldn't do that, right?
something to put in tea and not.
We could put some
Not
thorns in
after
it too.
a trick,
We could
no.
maybe
Right.
like pound up the thorns and put it in there. I heard it's pretty good for you. Maybe.
We can try that.
I'm curious.
I don't know what they'll do,
Okay.
Can I have the item?
but they're
Curious?
healing.
Sure. And
They're
I'm
healing.
gonna hand mine, and I'll
That's true.
hold my hand out for
No,
hold-
you can't touch it because it's dangerous.
He knows what he's doing. He'll
I'm
be
probably
okay with
going
it.
to have to touch it to figure
But
out
we're
what.
not. Okay, well, I'll give it to you when we get there.
Yeah, let's head out.
Let's go. We've spent enough time here.
All right. You all head out from the inn. You take a brisk 10-minute walk, and as you get back to the dock where this shack is, you all see what Shreya saw, which is the horizon littered with warships. Kalyn, you look down the dock, and you walked this dock. You know how many ships there are. Nearly all of them have set sail.
Do I see Reynolds' ship anywhere?
You do not.
I wonder if they have tea on one of these ships. I could fly over there and find out for you.
That's all right, Shreya. It's a passing notion.
I just don't want your contemplation to be upsetting. I know tea can brighten your spirits.
It's a soothing thing, but that's all right.
There's so many ships, surely one of them has tea.
I don't want to rob a ship of Andel on our way to.
But it would be fun.
Yeah, maybe we should just hold off on some trouble for right now.
Fine.
Maybe later, though.
As you all,
We just had a fun prank. Let's let everybody else have a fun prank if they want one.
We should probably figure out what these things do and, save the world.
Let's go inside the shack, please.
and as you all approach,
My
the
head
shack-
is just in my hands.
You all approach the shack, and you all see it, but everyone else along the dock who is passing by you, passing in front of you, don't even seem to take note. As one by one, you all open the door and funnel inside. You are once again greeted with this empty room before you with nothing but three levers on the opposite wall.
No one touched the levers or the box,
I look immediately at Oma.
except for
I'm not going to touch the levers. You shouldn't touch the levers.
Oh, I would never.
Sparkly.
I wouldn't. No.
You would never.
They're
touch-
very dull.
You would never touch
They're
any.
very dull.
Yeah, so Seeker, don't touch the lever, but touch the box. Everyone else don't touch the lever or the box.
I'm touching the box.
That's
But
all.
you don't. We shouldn't have. I guess you can touch the box.
A lot
my
of
box.
rules. I am going to just sit down here in the corner, and you can keep doing this while I do this. And I will sit down, crisscross applesauce, and pull out some really fancy-looking parchment paper and some matches that are in this it's a matchbox. It's a metal matchbox that has an owl carved on it. And I'll open it, and there's some wooden matches inside. And I have the items in front of me.
I slowly drop the box in front of him.
Thank you. I won't touch it a lot, but I have to touch it.
Okay, but just don't twist this part. Right there. Do you see it?
They say you're not supposed to tell the person what not to, because then you want to. The brain automatically. I want to now.
I'm just
turn.
telling you shouldn't turn
Okay.
it because that's how it
This is fine.
opens.
I mean, I'm not even supposed to.
And
do
I'm
it. I
gonna
wanna turn it now.
hold up the paper over it, and I'm going to strike a match on the ground. And as I hold it to the paper, I'm gonna say, "Traneri sin dolin, Traneri sin dolin," and I go into kind of a trance where I keep repeating this Elvish phrase that means "Tell me your secret." And as the paper,
I speak Elvish, so I know that.
You would know that.
Oh.
Yes.
Cool.
as the paper burns, there's a black smoke that starts to come off, but it turns into a purplish plasma that wreathes the items and envelops them as I start to cast Identify spell.
Okay.
Ritualistically.
Cool.
Which one are you doing first?
The one with the knob I can't turn.
Okay. All right. So you identify this box, and over the next couple of minutes, the secrets of this item begin to whisper themselves to you, and unfolding.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to say I also put an owl feather on that box, the one that I'm doing first.
Okay. All right. And as the secrets of this item begin to whisper to you and reveal themselves, you begin to sort of dissect the pieces of this box, seeing that it is a fully mechanical item. You're sort of in your head disassembling it, and you see that the aperture device on the outside is fairly simple. There's just an aperture that opens and closes with a metal shutter. You see that there is a button on the front that, when pressed, opens and closes the shutter. A very simple mechanism. What is not simple on the inside is a single black rock, almost coal-like. And you begin to understand about it that this item is incredibly dense. There is an incredible amount of material jammed into this rock. And when the aperture opens and this rock is exposed to air, particles of the material of this rock begin disintegrating with the air and dispersing themselves, creating almost what seems like an endless supply of fog. Although now you know that this rock, there is an endpoint to it. It will one day run out.
It'll run out, yeah. Do I get any, do I pick up any kind of feeling about it one way or another, or just that information?
You, specifically about this rock, get some very malicious intentions, you could call them. It is not something that is intended to help people.
And, okay, so, yep.
I'll also say, along with the mechanics of the device itself, you are able to determine with this stone and with the fog itself, its purpose is, once inhaled and the effects take over the mind, it almost delivers fear-inducing illusions. These illusions can be visual, auditory, but they can also trick the brain into physical sensory illusions as well. You can actually feel these things that you think you're coming in contact with.
So I will finish the trance from that one, and I will look up. Oh, wow. So, yes, you are correct. Do not open this. Have you ever heard of a fever dream?
No.
I think I just had one recently, actually.
I think he did.
Yes, you probably did, yes. This induces something like a fever dream. It's kind of a state of confusion, and it can even be physical.
So then we destroy the box.
I don't think we should.
It might be useful at
What?
some point, not for us.
Oh.
It is not meant to help, it is meant to hurt.
Oh,
That makes sense because when I was going to the cave, on the way in, there were these tunnels that were like fleshy and like scary, and like the whole wall was closing in.
Is that where you got
And
this?
then on the way out, it was just a cave wall.
You got this there?
Mm-hmm.
We should, okay, we should talk about that, but first, let's figure out what this other box is.
It's sort of, it's almost like I don't even know how to describe it. It goes into someone's arm. It's supposed to attach to your flesh.
Oh, fantastic. You want me to touch it?
No, I just want you to tell me what it's supposed to do when it does that, because I'm not quite sure what the benefits and the...
I reach down, pick up the
Point.
feather that's on the box, and move it over to this. And as I do, I like grab it, and I'm like, oh no! Oh, it's burrowing! Oh, it's going into my...
Can I see if he's faking or not?
Do we feel like that's
haven't
legit?
known
It's very
Okay.
hammed up. It's
Okay, it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
I punch you in the arm.
Does it hit the armband and push
There's
it in?
probably going to be damage.
Cecily, you're exhausted. It wouldn't
I'd
hurt
be
that
at
much.
disadvantage.
Okay.
It doesn't. You're
Oh.
surprised that it doesn't hurt, because when I've done it in the past, it usually smarts.
just hope she doesn't miss and hit a lever.
Yeah. No, you're not that close. You're not that close. All right.
Come on, this. All right, and then I will do the...
Okay. And the secrets once again begin flooding into your head. And you determine that this device, there are the two needles on the back. And when plunged into an arm or a chest or a leg, when pressed into a creature, extracts samples of blood. You understand that Flynn would probably not be able to use this item. You get that Shreya probably wouldn't. Thessaly probably wouldn't. You and Olma probably wouldn't. It extracts blood from creatures that are half of one thing and half of another. It separates the blood into the two vials. Once you turn the knob on the front, facing one of either vial, it then injects the blood back into you and suppresses the DNA of one half of you, allowing you to gain further abilities from either one of your lineages.
What?
From either. That's interesting.
So you get to, by using this for a temporary amount of time, gain certain abilities as well as certain disadvantages from either one of your half lineages.
That is so cool.
I love magic items. This is really something special. Most of us here cannot use it. You would actually have to have blood from two different races. And this essentially allows you to amplify one of them for a bit of time. So you can gain more abilities. And it could even make you look different. Like
It
more
does.
like one of the other. Oh, you've seen this in
I took it off of someone who used it to fight me.
So they looked one way and then they looked.
Yes, they looked
Another.
like a half elf, and then when they put it on, they turned into, I mean, what I would perceive as an elf, just an elf.
What if Zorkal put it on?
Oh, who's Zorkal? Oh, Zorkal.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool. I don't think I've ever seen an
I
orc.
wonder if that would make him like big and strong.
He's already big and strong.
He's already,
Like even
yeah.
bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
Do you think
Flynn.
it would work for somebody who's possessed?
Oh.
That's
It doesn't really affect your blood. If it's
What if you've meshed with it and now it's in you?
I don't know.
maybe.
it's not usually.
But if something was possessed,
Possession is
like,
an
let's just-
infestation of the soul.
if we went
Oh,
down
okay.
that line, if something was possessed and we gave it this, and then it could use like more of one of the things, would that be good?
Well, you could, in theory, shift it to the side that's not a demon.
Only
Or-
for
or
a short
spirit.
amount of time, but
Oh,
not
that's
a bad
true.
idea.
But I don't know that the
Might not work that way.
science at work really checks out on that front.
Okay.
Also, I just want to say I don't think that Zorkal's strength comes from either side of his lineage. I think he's a strong person. Because
And
he is.
while
Yeah,
that's
of course he is.
absolutely true, this could make him stronger.
Hi.
It certainly seemed to give some kind of benefit. I really wasn't all that intimidated until the person put it on, to be quite honest with you. It was a little terrifying.
Right.
Like I don't think that like one part of him makes him stronger or the other, but it's really would be hard to deny that using this and turning full of one thing would change him.
I suppose.
Is it a trade-off? Like, do you lose some to gain some kind of thing?
Yes,
Okay.
you do develop if a certain race has a weakness within them. Say a creature that is half human.
Mhm.
If you determine that if they fully adopt that, they would probably, and they had dark vision before, their
would
eyes
lose it.
would probably start losing their inherent ability to see in the dark. So you don't know, with the example of Zorkal, you don't necessarily know if strength would be a factor, but you probably determine that because orcs are larger creatures, his physical size would be affected because that is, because orcs are just larger than humans.
So essentially, Zorkal could use either or. Like he could turn full human if he wanted to like hide. if he was like in a place where he was trying to hide. And Kellic, if you were trying to hide or something, you could also change your appearance and pick one or the other.
It's kind of like this ring, and I point to the ring on my hand. It can make me look different. It doesn't make me stronger or better, but I can do different things than I could before. And this item seems to allow some type of a amplification of some skills while a suppression of others.
Why don't we try it? Why don't we try it? Do you want to put it on, Kelly?
That's a good idea.
Well,
I can think
I don't know if
few
it's
things
good.
more horrid than
We don't know what the long-term
The use of
effects are.
something
We
like
could
that.
run a trials of experiments. We give him tea, and then we just...
when you use your magic ring, Seeker, you change what we see you as. This device, it changes what you are, who you are.
Yeah, I have to remember.
I'm not putting that on.
A short amount of time. It may come in handy. Just would you hold it? Maybe at some point you could use it.
Like, what if you were
You
trying
don't
to?
have to.
What if we
I
tried
can hold
to?
it.
But also, what if you were trying to like infiltrate the drow because they're
yes.
part of it,
The
you
thought
know?
did cross my mind on that.
So I'm not saying you have to do it right now. I'm just saying if you ever tried to, it'd be a good spying tool.
Could you imagine Kalyn as a spy?
Well, both sides make
I
sense.
don't know what you mean, Seeker.
I think with enough tea in him, he could do just about anything.
This-
Nodding wildly and with approval.
Listen, both sides, they make sense, but I understand what Kellic's saying. Like, this was something that a Red Wolf member used. It could be bad. There could be... Does that spell you cast tell everything? Because maybe there's something that's hidden. Our enemy's using that to do bad things.
I've got a pretty good read on it. I like I said, I don't know the long term. If there's some kind of effect. And to be honest, Kalyn, if it were me, I probably would not. That's not true. I would use it.
I was about to interrupt you. Yes, of course you would.
It is an advantage if needed.
It is my... I can't tell you how much I would like for the Kangxi Drow to not be up in arms with the Red Wolf. And if this device would help us to that end, then I can't deny the application of it. I just think this kind of tampering it's wrong.
It is a strange use of magic and science. I mean, wonder what they're trying to do with it.
I don't think that they have good intentions if my time spent there was any indication.
We should also talk about that at some point.
We could just, once again, we can just go there. I don't see why.
Is that the place that you want to go?
I think it might have things that you could investigate, and apparently that you all know about with this Order of the Red Wolf, and...
I could do a quick flyby, see if there's anyone there. And then...
We can go. We can all go.
You wanted to
Yes.
put your beacon light
beacon.
in it.
I was going to see if I could reflect it and make it stronger, yes? We could see if that would work.
I hesitantly take this device from Seeker.
I gently take the box.
You want the box?
I'm gonna put it away.
So, do you have a place to store that? Because this, and I point at my backpack. This has a really special interdimensional plane that I can hide it in.
Okay.
That way, not anybody can get it.
I
I don't want to use it yet.
Okay, but the last time we were in a place, you opened a box and you tried to get people to do it. So I'm just gonna think maybe not.
That was
you
not a box,
holding
and
it.
it was. This box will not be opened unless the majority of the group agrees.
I think, we've had to escape cities before. Being chased by an angry mob, it could be helpful that they are all seeing things that frighten them.
Yeah. Or if we run into the Red Wolf again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
I'm just
people
gonna
deserve
put it
it.
in my.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it in my bag.
Or like the lady who
I
turned
have
into
a
the thing
backpack
that
that I
ate
can
you.
put it in. I'm just gonna put it in my backpack.
While I do want to use it on Mellaroo, I probably shouldn't. And sure, well, yeah, hold on to it. I think it's fine in your hands. But yeah, Seeker, we were thinking the reason we were staying here, one is to wait for you to get back, but also we think going into the lighthouse might have clues to the Red Wolf. It might have clues to what they're doing, or maybe they're there and we can stop them. I don't know if you're familiar with mind flayers, but
Not at all.
we saw in the past. We saw
Sounds like a terrible creature.
they're hideous and they're also very dangerous, but
They sound tasty to me.
gross. We basically saw a meeting.
Why would you eat something called mind flayer?
We watched a meeting of the Red Wolf, and there's a bunch of different mirrors, and it seems like mind flayers were on it, so they could be a part of one of the big groups. So we might be able to knock them out or find out what they're doing. So now that you're here, are you willing to come with us and check it out?
Yes.
Kalyn,
Yes.
did Flynn give you an update on the Red Wolf?
I believe I've been adequately debriefed.
Yeah? And you're interested in coming with us?
Look, I understand what you're getting at, and if I totally understand. If you don't want me to come with you, I will happily stay behind. As Flynn and I discussed before, we just sent a message, and I am more than happy to follow up on that.
No,
I
if
don't
would
need
feel
you
more
not to
comfortable.
come. You just kind of... Are you going to be an agent?
We're not just letting anyone into the group
But
now,
she
are
just
we?
comes along with us, so I'm just saying, like...
Honorary, Kellic? What about honorary? What just like
As flattered as I am, I don't believe at this moment my priorities align with yours.
what do you mean?
If you are all going to investigate a lighthouse, and as you should investigate these mind flares, I feel like that is a decent course of action for you all. They seem very dangerous. That is not my priority at this moment. My priority is meeting with Zorkhal and meeting up with the rest and
You're right.
finding this out. That's where my priority is at. And all due respect, at this very moment, you guys heading off to the lighthouse, that does not seem to be your priority. So, as flattered as I am at the prospect of that, I will have to say maybe another time.
Have you ever heard about the Red Wolf?
Flynn telling me about it was the first I had heard of it.
Well, don't go talking about it, and definitely don't go joining, okay?
She would never,
I don't know that. I don't know her from Steve.
but I do. And
Who
you know,
is this Steve?
I don't know. I just said I don't
I
know her from
promise
Steve.
I will not speak of it.
We could use a spy inside. Hey, you said you want to go to a lighthouse.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I'm just asking her if she's coming with us or not. Gosh.
so you're gonna go check in with
Sounds
Zorkhal
like she
now?
wants to stay.
I feel as though, with everything that we know about Nessa, perhaps that is where I am most needed. I know we will see each other again.
But you just got here. We just had one mission, and now you're leaving again.
But Flynn, that is the mission. We cannot be beholden to every single one of our attachments if those attachments get in the way of us doing some real good.
You know,
Because we have the power to do some real good, and that must be our priority.
I know, but it still sucks.
You'll get over it.
Oh.
Your Mallaroo is showing.
This feels like a.
As that's like happening,
We're all like, we be here.
I'm like, do.
But this is what I miss. But I get it.
He misses this.
Almash.
Like I get it. You got it. We got to figure this out. We got to fix it. I got to take care of this, and you can just. We're gonna reach out. Just listen for Kellic's voice, or look for letters, or I don't know. But maybe I can figure out, and I'll pull my book out. Or maybe I can figure out a way to keep in contact with you.
oh, I can help.
Yeah.
Yeah, one moment. Reach my right hand back to my backpack and produce a golden scroll, or like a scroll that has golden ends, and I will unscrew one end, tap out a small vial of ink, and hand it to Kalyn and say, you can send wait, hold on. It's not gold, it's silver. And I open the scroll and it says, "Are you okay?" I say, "Yes, I am okay."
Yeah, I realized after I wrote it that you couldn't respond to me, so.
Oh, I mean, it's nice of you to ask.
I wanted to make sure you
Sometimes
were fine.
I'm not sure you care. I'm
That
kidding.
is
I'm playing.
you got me on that one. You got me on that one.
And I hand the vial and say, "You can write this on a piece of paper using a pen or your hand, and I will get the message eventually, as you see here. You can communicate one way."
I'll be sure to use it.
Did you find out anything? Good or bad? Let us know.
I promise.
And
I'm like
safe.
ushering everybody away a little bit. Like,
stay safe, okay? There's a lot of missions to go on still. All right?
At least one more.
Always.
As she turns and opens the door and heads out of the shed, closing
Wait,
it behind her.
Kalyn. It was an honor fighting by your side.
She just, right before closing the door, she just looks inside, gives you a little, and winks at you.
I like when I have that effect on people.
She closes the door, and her footsteps once again get lost in the foot traffic of the docks.
Flynn and Kalyn sitting in a tree.
What? Gross.
Kissing.
No.
Olma.
Mm-hmm.
She's my best friend. That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
she has a point.
She's
What?
a bit of a looker, Flynn. I don't know. She's
Well, of course. We're both really good looking.
I did not. No, we did not say. This was not said.
And that is where we're going to end this episode. We're going to call it right there. Tune in next week to find out if Flynn is attractive or not. We will once and for all end the debate. But until then, thank you all so much for listening, and we can't wait to see you all again next week. Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.
Hey nerds, what's going on? This is Cameron, voice of Shreya. I just want to remind you guys, we so appreciate it when you guys follow us and interact with our social channels. It helps inform all of the work we do. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon. You get access to a lot of like cool extras that everything that orbits the podcast and the universe. You never know what you're going to find there. So highly encourage y'all to check that out. Also, if you enjoy these episodes, try to check out our Harken Backs. It pulls all of the events that happen throughout all of the episodes and arranges them really nicely by our wonderful engineer and artistic mind, Shane. He groups them together in a fantastically condensed yet still meaningful way. So yeah, do all of those things if you'd like that I just mentioned, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, nerds.